That's not bad.
No.
Thank you, sir. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. Thanks everybody for being here tonight. We will get started first off with a presentation from Osprey Initiative. Don Bates and is it Lauren Williamson are here to give us a presentation.
Thank y'all. I think it's been about 3 years now, maybe 4. I don't know. It's going fast. Just wanted to come give kind of our update on the work that we've done in Decatur. It's been another good year. Real pleased. Drove the sites today. And, you know, like I tell y'all, we're always honored to come work in people's water. We think water means a lot. And to see how Wilson Morgan looks and the cemetery lake and the creeks and the work that's going on, they really look great. And that's a little bit about what we do, but also just driving today, the streets look good. I know it's a constant fight. Somebody said I may get out of my lane, but, you know, it's kind of where that stuff begins and starts moving up. So pretty inspired by what we saw today. Most people know us, but we maintain the litter getters. We have some booms, and then we do tactical cleanups of 4 separate sub-watersheds in the city of Decatur. So as you can see in the next slide, our totals, this is project totals, year versus whatever. So total, we're at 22,000 pounds of litter removed from the waters of Decatur. And that's not counting the debris. That's another 8,000 pounds of debris and volume. So that's a pretty significant number, and that's top to bottom of the watershed. So big numbers. You can see the volumes. You know, that's a lot of litter, but that's a lot of legacy litter. And if we look on the next slide, well, it comes in a minute, but go to the next one. What we're doing today, we have litter getters in Spring Branch and Dry Branch. I'm sorry, Clark Springs at Wilson Morgan. Those litter getters are working. We also decided to try some booms. So we have booms in the cemetery lake, and in our work in Betty Rye that we kind of found, we actually moved one of the booms to the railroad crossing. So again, being tactical, trying to intercept the litter. So those are our site locations where sites have moved. So currently we have 2 active litter getters, 3 litter booms. We've completed 1 pass this year, and we're almost through with our 2nd pass. So our goal is to be finished. That's top to bottom watershed cleanup twice a year is our goal. So we think that's a key part. Instead of just waiting on that material to get to your litter trap, go find it where it is. And so we start upstream, work our way downstream, and walk every foot of bank to the high water mark of the area. So we're actually almost done. We've got just the last basin of Betty Rye branch to get, and the grass has grown up, so we'll hit that and be ready for next year. So next one. So yeah, these are our devices. Most people have seen the litter getters, typical cleanup, what we do. But that critical piece is the tactical cleanup work. That amount of litter would overwhelm the litter traps. We try to use the litter traps as secondary containment once the what gets past us on the first pass. So pretty successful there. So next slide. And so this shows the water that we're working in. So when we started, originally we started with a couple of litter getters and then kind of freed up the city to go find it. So this is Black Branch. We started with a trap there. There's really not much litter. And so we hit that tactically. We moved that litter getter to another location. So Wilson, Morgan, so you can see how we break our zones out. Each of those are data points. This is kind of a summary of where we are, but our report that we're working on for the end of this year is going to be a little more specific, results by zone, how that material moves. And what you'll find is you'll have different areas where the litter starts, and so how you tie that in. And so it'll be a much more specific report to the zones, and so you can see all the areas. And then what's neat on this next slide will show you, but you see how we go. So this is based on confluence and road crossings. We think those are where, that's a different data set of where the litter might be coming from. So that's how we break these zones down. And so again, each one of those tells its own story. And then if you look at the last slide, this is the ETAP results. And so this is a summary of this year's ETAP results. The interesting one to show, so when we started, if you look at the blue and orange one, we have 3 conditions of litter when we collect it. So intact, which is almost like brand new litter, stuff that's been out there a little while, and then we have what's called the roach stuff, the stuff that's in really bad shape. So our first year of results would have shown up 50% of that super degraded material has been sitting here. It's the frustrating stuff. It rains, it finds it, it moves it. And if you'll look now, most of the legacy litter has been removed. And so the blue, while people say, oh, we're so active, well, we've removed a lot of the old stuff. So that shows that we're starting to get on active litter. And now that we've defined that, as we work with the city, we're interested, that gives you a little more specific plan on breaking down what some of that material might look like, because that's when you can do programmatic things upstream. If we have a zone next to a school, that's where you can really go in with a talk to the kids because it's active litter. And so that bears some digging in a little bit on where we're now seeing the active litter and what some of that. If it's a ball, if we're finding a lot of water bottles and Gatorade bottles, we'll buy ball fields. And maybe that's a few more trash cans. So pretty excited about where we are, just picking up litter, but now going into what we can do with some of this. So I wanted to go fast tonight. I've been up here before. I know y'all got a big agenda, and as quick as you can get out, you're better off in my shoes. But we're real pleased, and we're starting to hear more. We're talking with some folks in Huntsville, and it's neat to kind of tell them, if y'all want to see an area that's working, just come down the road to Decatur, and we can show you live projects and active projects and what a couple of years of effort, committed partnership with the city can look like. So as we grow in the north part of Alabama, this is kind of our where we set the flag first, and with a lot of help from y'all. So appreciate it. Any questions?
Are we still your only municipality? You said that last
Y'all
year.
are our first municipality.
Okay.
Mobile we have a contract now with City of Mobile, Alabama, that because of some of the work we started, we have some county work and different things, but y'all are our first, most continuous city.
I'm curious too, if you have some of these data points, if it's 3 years in, we're going through budget season coming up here in the next couple of months, and we spend a lot of money on picking up trash and new initiatives to beautification and litter pickup, and you know how effective that is, because really we're basing doing that off anecdotal. Do we see trash when we go down the road? But
Right.
using the data could be helpful for us to see if it's making any impact at all. So if you kind of have trends year over year,
Definitely.
that might be helpful.
Definitely.
I don't know if you can send them to Carl or somebody, but
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask, if, have we seen a trend, you know, the total collected, is it dropping, is it increasing, or?
So we can actually, this report that we're working on is kind of a life summary of the whole deal, showing the transition. That's alone right here shows, this is for this year, so it's showing the legacy litter is a booger, and a lot of people chase that up and down the river. And the fact that we've really almost knocked it out, you know, is a big piece of it. And just, I think if you look like Wilson Morgan's a zone by itself, the Cemetery Lake's a zone by itself, to show what came out of those historically versus what's coming out of those today, you know, I think it's a big, you know, a big story. So we're gonna try some different things. When we do that, we may even send some draft stuff, but anything from that standpoint. We actually capture branding, and that's always an issue. National brands are kind of hard to track, but we do see a lot of correlation in watershed and fast food. And so those are some opportunities we think for some corporate citizenship. Now it's kind of specific to say, you know, why are we seeing this, your brand is showing up here, and this happens to be where you have 3 gas stations. You know, maybe you should take that on yourself to do some interceptors. We actually acquired the rights to the stormwater grates that y'all have, so that accompanies us now. We like the way they work. And so even some of that in a nice, polite way. We know, like if we look at what's coming north of Wilson Morgan, we see a lot of packing material. Well, we've got pretty big commercial up there on the highway, and so we see a lot of like what wraps pallets with, some of that material. And so digging into some of that, we're happy to show where some of that's coming.
Okay, any other questions for Don?
Thank you.
All right, we'll put
Thanks,
something
sir.
together. Thank y'all.
All right, we do have one person signed up for public comment, Mr. Fortin. Just come to the podium, we'll do 3 minutes.
I just want to address the issue on my ditch again. Nothing's been done. You know, I'm working on my 5th month trying to get it all cleaned up, and I'm wondering when this is going to happen.
I gave you an answer to that, Mr. Ford.
The drainage ditch, the big ditch. It's still
Oh,
no
you're talking
water.
about the big ditch?
The big ditch.
Okay.
The back ditch, I cleaned that myself because you guys didn't do a good enough job, so I finished that myself.
I'll need to find out when it's scheduled to be addressed as far as getting the brush cleaned back off of the big ditch. The big ditch, Carl, have you looked at it by chance?
I mean, most of it's mowing and just cleaning it back off the alley.
But a lot of them trees got to be cut back.
But I would
And
remove the trees.
I didn't see anything myself that would impede water flow.
Well, it does, believe me, it does. Well, my neighbor's got 58 signatures, and she would have been here tonight, but she couldn't make it.
Carl, we're saying that the limbs, and I'm not debating this since I originally called it, but we saying that the limbs that hang down into the ditch do not restrict water to a certain extent?
In that ditch, water has to get really high.
It does, when it rains,
It's
it
flooded
gets,
people's homes.
it's flooded people's homes.
But in those rain events, those limbs aren't probably, they're not impeding that water flow.
Not at all.
That ditch is huge.
Are you saying not at all?
Well, technically it does some, but
It does.
it's a grass line ditch and you throw in a friction factor.
You can't cut none of those trees back? We're still getting rats and mice over there too. That's causing a lot of,
That's mowing, I don't do mowing. So, but anyway,
You're talking about the trees, though.
I mean, the trees aren't gonna affect the rats and.
they sure do. It causes rats and mice and.
The trees are gonna be there, I'm not gonna get rid of the trees.
You can't get rid of none of those trees?
That's a problem.
You keep it clean over here on 8th Avenue, clean, but you won't come up my way.
Cutting vegetation off the bank of the ditch will cause erosion problems, and I'm not gonna subject the city to that, to solve.
But they do it over here on 8th Avenue and they do it in Point Mallard.
Hey, Mr. Fortin, let's just listen to the conversation and then we'll
I
respond.
don't know that he's asking, now, when I had a conversation with Mr. Ford, I don't know that he's asking Carl for the trees to be removed. I think he's asking for the limbs to be cut. And I understand that would create erosion, but for the limbs to be cut back so that, stuff can't be.
That's fine, and then Parks and Rec, or the tree
Well, there,
I understand that, but I'm just bothered by the thing that where you said that we're not removing trees, but, I mean,
Well,
and
again, the water level that has to get up,
that water level gets up on that.
Mr. Fortin, if you can Mr. Jackson's having a conversation with Mr. Pruitt.
I mean, technically, there are some, I guess, factors involved, the water flow and what the side of that ditch is made out of. And I guess, if you look at it technically by the math, yes, it would affect it somewhat. Would it affect it enough to create flooding? No.
well, and I think that when I get called to someone's home, a block or so from them, and they've had water to come to their home,
Which rain event?
I'm sorry,
Which rain event was that?
I mean, I can go back and look, but, and I'll tell you exactly which one it was, but it was the Woods family that was over on, was it First? I think they're on First. No, they're not. They're on Beard. They're on Beard. And they had flooding in their home, and I think Herman's had conversations with them as well. But the fact is that anytime, I guess from an appearance point of view, that when there's any sort of obstruction and people are getting water into their homes, it would be in our best interest and in their best interest to remove any sort of obstruction that might even impede water to the slightest extent. So I would like to see, and I know that that's not your area, but I guess I was just kind of digging on that thing where you said trees would not be removed.
So I'll be glad to check and see when it's scheduled to be maintained.
I know they get mowed on
Yeah.
city contract, and I don't know, I know they trim trees off alleys, I don't know if they trim the ditch side or not. I don't know the contract.
And the mayor said that the issue was resolved, and I know that we're hiding behind an ordinance a bad ordinance that the council passed, and, but that, again, I think that it's our responsibility to take care of those right of ways, and, I think that we need to do a better job of that.
When was that ordinance passed?
2015.
2015.
Yeah.
Okay,
But that, like I said before, that water does come halfway up to my house.
yeah, I
From
think,
that ditch and over the road, right there.
yes, sir, I think Mr. Jackson's point is try to remove those obstructions, see if it helps the flooding, and if it doesn't, there will be obviously another step that we'll have to take to see what would cause that flooding, but, it sounds like the mayor will check and see when it's on the list to be, maintenance for those limbs to get out of the ditch.
Yeah, I've been working on it for 5 months, and I haven't got no progress done yet.
Well, I hope we do. All right, we will move into our agenda. First on the agenda here is approval of minutes, July 11th, 2022, 5 p.m. council work session, July 18th, 2022, 9:30 a.m. council work session, July 18th, 2022, 10 a.m. council meeting. Any questions? All right, set public hearings, ordinance number 224523, approve pre-zoning request 139822 for Castle Rock Global Holdings LLC located south of 3102 Modus Road Southwest to an R5 single-family patio home district. Set public hearing for September 6, 2022 at 6 p.m. Lee?
This is part of a larger development. This is just a small piece of several parcels that were purchased for this development. This one just happens to be just outside of the city limits. So this is the pre-zoning to put that to a patio home zoning that was recommended for approval by the Planning Commission.
Okay, any questions? And that whole, I know the next one is the rest of that, but all of that is R5?
Looking to go R5, you will probably see they're considering a portion of it for R6, a very small portion. So you potentially would see in the coming months, once they firm up their plans, coming back and rezoning some of this to R6. The purpose of these two is to allow the sale to happen on the property. It's contingent on this zoning.
Okay. All right, any other questions? All right, on ordinance 224524, approve rezoning request 139922, approximately 53.44 acres from Ag 1 to Ag 2 acres from Ag 1 and Ag 2 to an R5 single-family patio home district. Set public hearing for September 6, 2022 at 6 p.m.
Yes, same issue. This is the larger of all the tracts. This is in the city limits, so this is just a standard rezoning on this one. And this was recommended for approval.
All right, any questions? All right, ordinance number 224525, approve rezoning request 1422 land services from an Ag 1 agricultural district to a PRD 7 planned residential district. Set public hearing for September 6, 2022 at 6 p.m.
Yes, you probably have never seen a PRD zoning before. It's a special zoning category we have for developments that are looking to do something that is just slightly outside of any of our standard zoning districts. If this is approved to give it the PRD 7, the 7, by the way, it designates a density that can be allowed. And so if this is approved, the next thing you would see is they would submit a development plan to the Planning Commission. And if that development plan is approved, it's recorded in probate and they are held to that is what will be built. It's very detailed. So a little different than what you're used to seeing. This is probably the first one that's been done in several years, maybe 10 years now, probably.
Why is it because of the size of the
lot
density?
sizes,
Okay.
the density, the lot sizes. It doesn't quite fit in the R5 patio home.
So it's a smaller lot than
And they're
R5?
also looking to mix the uses a little bit. They're considering a little bit to be townhomes, a little bit to be similar to patio homes, kind of like a cottage style development that's becoming a popular product. I know they just built a large one similar to this over in South Huntsville, so it's becoming a popular residential product.
But it's a smaller lot. It's
Smaller
more
lot.
dense than R5.
Smaller lot size, slightly smaller setbacks, specifically the front and rear yard.
Okay.
Is it the same developer that did one in Huntsville?
No, this is the same developer as the one directly across the street that is doing the Glenmont subdivision.
All right, any other questions? All right, resolution 22-174, approved demolition of accessory structure located at 705 Prospect Drive Southeast. Set public hearing for September 6, 2022 at 6 p.m.
I'm sure we can talk about this a little closer to the public here, but we didn't hear anything from the property owners for a long time, and they've promised to have it done before the public hearing, and we're encouraged, so maybe we can pull it.
Okay. Any questions?
Is that in the rear of the property?
Yes, sir.
All right, any other questions? Public hearings, ordinance number 224522, approved zoning request 139722 for recently annexed tract of 6.4 acres located at 370 McIntyre Lane, zoning to be M1A, Expressway Commercial District. Public hearing was set July 5th, 2022.
Yes, this was recently annexed. It's an existing business on the property that was seeking access to the sewer system. So they annexed in, and this will just be to apply the zoning. And this was recommended for approval.
All right, any questions? All right, next we have a number of weed abatements. David, any in particular?
No changes on any of these, if y'all want to do it that way.
Okay, any questions on any of these? It's A through M. All right, moving to N, resolution number 22-188, approve extension of a special use permit from T-Mobile to modify equipment on an existing tower located at 1406 Chadwell Street Southwest.
Good afternoon, President, Council Mayor. David Andrews with CMS. This extension is a request made by T-Mobile. The special use permit was actually approved by the council in February of this year, and it actually expires on August the 20th. They were not able to start construction of this site. They have submitted a proposed construction start date of August the 15th, which is before before it expires, but it'll take them approximately 3 to 4 weeks to complete the project, so they won't have enough time to complete it under the requirements of the approved special use permit. So we're asking for an extension.
All right, any questions? All right, resolution 22-189, approve River Clay Arts Festival to be held October 21st to 23rd, 2022.
Oh, yes, this is the annual River Clay Arts Festival, and this is the resolution that would authorize the use of the grounds around City Hall for the holding of that festival.
All right, any questions? All right, resolution 22-190, approve 2022-2023 Burn Justice Assistant Grant, JAG Program Award.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is an agreement between the county and the city to split the JAG funds. The total amount is $17,120, with the city getting $10,320 and the county getting $6,800.
All right, any questions? Thank you. Resolution 22-191, approve budget amendment for the Highway 20 Bibb Garrett Improvements Project. I don't know who to look at when you.
I believe this budget amendment is to increase the budget for the right-of-way acquisitions we've been going through and the time it's taken to, I guess, for the attorney fees and the reappraisal fees that was required since the time it took from the first appraisal to this one and through the court system, we required a reappraisal, and I believe this money's for that.
Yes, well, that's a little expensive, but that's it. Basically, we're having it reappraised because it's going to be in the circuit court of Limestone County. And in order to get updated figures, we need to get reappraisals. And that's one of the purposes. The Allen maybe one of the purposes.
Yeah, we were just getting real close on the money that we had allocated for that, so we were just asking for some additional, like Herman said, for reappraisals and then the work that AECom's doing. So all that tied in together, we just asked the budget.
Okay. Any questions? All right, resolution 22-192, approve change order number 4 for ADA improvements to the Princess Theater.
Yes, Mayor, Council, this is just a change order that was requested basically from the Princess, because when we did the ADA compliance from Evans, Terry and Associates, once the architect got it and he drew the plans, they had some changes that they wanted to do just because of where that we had put the handicap seating. So this would be to move that, but it will comply with with Evan Terry's request, and so we're just asking that y'all approve this change.
All right, any questions? Thank you, sir. Resolution 22-193, approve replacement and repair of the undercarriage and rollers for the 2018 John Deere 850K Dozer by Warrior Tractor and Equipment.
Hey, good evening. We went out for bid for this repair and replacement, but we didn't get any responses. So I was instructed to contact a couple of the vendors, which in this case it was Warrior, to negotiate a repair. And the price came to $45,959.39.
Okay. Any questions? All right, thanks, Wanda. Resolution 22-194, approve the agreement with Alabama Department of Corrections, North Alabama CBF-CWC.
I'm thinking that this will be for citywide, not just for the landfill and recycling, right? Okay.
It's the same
Okay.
contract we had.
Yeah, for everyone. Yeah.
Anybody wants to use it, the city
Okay.
can do that, yeah.
So this is the renewal for our DOC labor, which is approximately, it's $15 a day plus transportation, so it's $20 a day. That hadn't changed, but this is just the annual renewal.
Okay, any questions? All right, resolution 22-195, award bid number 22031 for 4 transit vans awarded to Lynn Leighton Ford, invoking the local vendor privilege.
Yes, sir. This is for 3 vans with a tow package and 1 van without a tow package. And Lynn Leighton was one of the respondents. We had one other, Florence, and it's within the percentage for the local vendor privilege invocation.
Okay, any questions? And those 4 there's 1 for DYS and 3
for Park and Rec.
And are all 3 of those for the beautification?
Yes, so there's an additional 13,500, I believe, in additional funding needed to support the 3 vans from what we originally passed at mid-year.
Okay, and the DYS van, is that replacing an old van?
So Brandon has a van that currently doesn't have any AC working. His plan is to hopefully salvage it and be able to use it, and this would be in addition, so they'd have 6 vans.
Okay,
But if it doesn't make sense to do that repair, then this van would replace that van. And their fleet ranges from 2004, and their newest one they have right now is 2013.
Okay.
What year is the truck that has no AC?
He didn't know off the top which one it was, but they've all had very minimal repair and maintenance on them this year, except the 2013 we put about $1,400 into.
I'll call Brandon, but I'd like to have more information, because we're gonna replace an entire van because the AC is not working.
yeah, that was kind of my question too, is,
Okay, I'll be.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I'm trying to figure out how old this van is, because.
Well, the newest one we have is 2013, so.
but
If
is he,
it's that one, it could be one of the older ones, I'm not sure.
DYS didn't have a van newer than 2013?
Not on my records that I see. A 15-passenger van.
but you do think he would want he's saying he needs an addition even if the other one started?
So when we did the bid, we added the additional van because he had expressed to us that there was a need for an upgrade in the fleet. So while we were doing it for beautification, we thought it was an efficiency, economic thing to do to add an additional one on it, being with the problems we've had with supply chain and whatnot. So this is just the results of that.
Okay,
This has got a 4-month delivery on it.
yeah,
That's better than the other vendor, which was 6 months.
yeah.
And that's, what fund is that?
Sir?
What fund?
Both of them are going to be in the general fund. The beautification piece is in the general fund, and so is DYS.
So it's budgeted then?
The DYS is not budgeted, and the beautification piece is currently budgeted, but it's short $13,000.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions? Thanks, Charles. Resolution 22-196, award bid number 22027, sanitary sewer extension to Holland Meadows subdivision to Clayton Properties Group Incorporated, doing business as Southern Site Contractors.
You almost got away.
Yep. This was done by Pew Wright to extend out for that, the development.
Okay, and this is next to, this is part of the Davidson development, okay,
We understand.
yeah. Okay, any questions? All right, resolution 22-197, approved Temple Incorporated proposal to remove signals and Decatur Utilities AC proposal for retiring traffic light facilities.
Yeah, we had met, I guess, with the Volker people about was it Prospect, Gordon Drive, 8th Avenue, and about removing those traffic signals and making those 4-way stops. And the chief and I had also looked at another signal, I guess it's Somerville Road at Medical Drive.
Yep.
And taking down those traffic signals and making them 3- or 4-way stops. And this is the price for Temple to do their thing and DU to do their thing, and then we would erect the 4-way stops and do the striping, and it's in the police department's budget.
Okay, and that's in hopes of, it's a safety problem we've had, I know it.
We've had accidents and consistent speeding, especially on that Gordon 8th Avenue Prospect area.
At Medical Drive and Somerville, we'll just, no traffic control will be in place there, is that right?
It's just single
Okay.
stop.
No stop sign at that location though, right?
There'll be one stop.
Be one for Medical Drive coming on to Somerville, yes.
Thank you.
Right.
That would be very helpful. What about Grant Street and Somerville? Will we be able to use one of these lights that we're taking down?
I probably would not, given their age. Now, if we can salvage poles, maybe, but as far as the signal heads themselves, I would put up new signal heads.
Okay.
All right, any other questions? All right, resolution 22-198, approve Bibb Garrett Bridge project completion date change.
Yeah, this is due to the delays in getting materials and other rain and other factors that's happened through the life of this project. The contractors has requested additional days, no additional dollars to the project, and this is just a resolution to make that change order for additional days to the project.
All right, any questions?
Just, we should have reached out to you. Is there a deadline?
For the money?
Yeah.
My understanding, and Alan can help me with this, but if I remember the grant proposal correctly, we have till 2025 to spend the money. Obviously, FHWA, well, we have to submit to them for our schedule because they want to know that, but.
Does it also impact the ability to apply for future RISE grant or build grant? Extending this out for potentially next year?
I think we could probably apply for a planning grant. I don't know that we could maybe get another construction grant, but I do think, and I talked today to FHWA, they said that, Mr. Cap said that he didn't think there'd be any issue at all. I've already sent him the information for the extension. He said he would start, he'd start working on his end, but he did not see a problem. And I think it's actually like Carl said, it's 25. It's September of 25, I believe, when the grant actually, when we have to have this fund spent. Presently, we're at 63% complete, so I think we're very well on our way to being completed.
Good.
Okay. All right, any questions? All right, resolution 22-199, approve AECom SR20 Diamond Interchange proposal.
And I guess this goes into your last question there. We was asked to get a proposal to get engineering work, environmental work, whatever else needs to be done to apply for for the RISE grant, what used to be the build grant, for another interchange across Highway 20, approximately at the Calvary Church location.
Okay.
And this is that proposal to do the engineering, environmental, and get everything prepared to apply.
All right, any questions? All right, moving into ordinances. Ordinances, first reading, ordinance number 22-4526, approve annexation 37122 for 2.18 acres located south of 3102 Modus Road Southwest.
This is the annexation that goes with the pre-zoning earlier on the agenda. I know you usually see them separated, but this one is running concurrently. For this project, the speediness of doing them together is what they're looking for, so that's why you're seeing these two presented together.
All right, any questions? Ordinance 22-4527, approve annexation request 37222 for 0.78 acres, more or less, located at 3418 Central Avenue Southwest.
So this one is a single-family home there on Central Avenue. Due to some quirks in how the out-of-district rules apply for applying for going to Decatur City Schools, they fall just short of qualifying. So in order to be able to send their children to Decatur City Schools, they're requesting this annexation. That's why this one is coming. Because of that and the short turnaround, the deadline for applying for school for this semester, I did want to request if there was any way to consider immediate consideration on this one at next Monday's meeting so that they can get everything they need to get applied for this school year.
Okay. Any questions, discussion? Thanks, Lee. All right, anything else from department directors?
Yeah, I had one item.
Right.
I don't have a microphone anymore. We're gonna miss it. I just want to request, and the police department joins me in this request, that we ask that we add an item on next Monday's agenda, just approving them. It basically declares surplus evidence and some weapons, and this way they can go ahead and get those sold and get some items ordered that they need. And to delay it another 3 weeks seemed a little long. So but basically, they've already gone through, they've advertised the surplus property, and nobody's claimed any of the items. And so what this would do is just declare these items surplus so they can go ahead and sell them to those, one of those entities that are allowed by law to purchase weapons.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have any problem with that.
Thank you.
All right, anything else from department directors? Mayor?
Yes, sir. I have something from Mr. Watkins at DYS. The van with no air is a 2004. He said that there's not a system in place to get air to the back of the van. And that is the issue. And then the newest van that they have is a 2016.
Okay. All right, anything else?
No, sir.
All right, anything else from council?
Yeah, I have something. The night before last, unfortunately, we had another vehicle collision at Upper River Road and Highway 67 right there, where the cutoff is to go left, like you're going towards Priceville, I guess you could say. I was told that there's some talks of possibly getting or hopefully getting a traffic signal there. I was going to see where we are on that.
It's pretty, yeah. That was actually part of our ARPA fund allocation, but Carl.
Okay.
Yes, engineering's underway. We're about 60% with the plans. And we're just starting where we're gonna need to get some right-of-way acquisition done. So if that doesn't take too long to do, maybe sometime next year we can kick the project off, would be my guess.
So ballpark timeline is about a year.
Yeah, maybe.
All depending on right-of-way.
There's a right-of-way acquisition is one of those things that's hard to put time to, but I would think hopefully sometime next year we can be under construction.
Thank you.
All right, anything else from council? All right, we are adjourned. Thank you.